Hey brats, today is an exciting day. We are finally getting to check out the 3dRudder for the PSVR. This is a foot-powered motion controller. This allows you free locomotion in a lot of games. So basically, there's two reasons why this exists. One, the first most obvious one, especially if you haven't ever played much with a PSVR, this is the PSVR motion controller. This does not have one of these. It doesn't have an analog stick. So for games where you go running around the game, a lot of times what you have to do is you have to hold the thumb button and aim this in the direction that you want to walk. This makes it tricky for a lot of games with locomotion, especially ones where, like, imagine if you have a sword and a shield. You're now using a sword or a shield in one hand that you also have to walk with. So you're tipping your shield off in some weird direction, and it just makes things difficult. The second and the more compelling reason that this exists is that people say that this does not give you motion sickness when you're playing in VR, because with your feet involved in the moving, enough of your body is now perceiving movement that it doesn't throw off your brain and make you sick. I don't know on that front, and fortunately I don't really get sick, so I'm not gonna be able to test that until I can find a friend who does. I'll put them in VR in this and just let them go crazy and see if they end up getting terribly sick. So we'll find out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna tear this thing open, we're gonna unbox it, and then we're gonna go test it out in the PSVR with a couple of games, see what we've got, and then I'll come back at you with my final conclusions of, is this the awesome peripheral that's gonna fix the PSVR controllers for us? Is this what we need for PSVR? Let's find out. Got a tiny little unboxing knife here to help me out with any sort of tape or anything that's in the way. Knife safety first and foremost. Always use the right tool for the job. Package is super shiny, good PlayStation colors. I really like that. Now this is one of those boxes that seems like it's almost impossible to not damage the box when you're opening it. Oh, there we go. Minor scratches. Now this is interesting. So this opens up, and now you're in. You've got another box inside of a box. It's more like a box inside of a cover. We don't need that anymore. Now we're into the 3dRudder box. So we open that up, and now we've got books and crap. Nothing we need. That can go over there. Now we're into a nice soft piece of foam here, and we are into the 3dRudder. First thing you can see right here, as we're going to demonstrate in the video, this is not meant for you to stand on this. You don't stand on this and lean around the room. It's got a, hey, don't stand on there, first thing. And apparently some assembly required because we're missing something up here. What do we have left? We've got, oh man, one of these is pretty stuck in there. We've got these. These are what are going to go in these holes. These are so that you can kind of lock your ankles in place when you're moving this. Looks like these are pretty straightforward. Looks like you just put them down in and slide. Ooh, I like that. Because the PC one, you actually tape these on and then you can never move them. These are going to come in and out. You can actually put this back in your box. So now, basically, we've got this thing balancing here. It's got a USB cord that can go straight into the PS4. And then we're going to have our feet on here, and we are going to be able to control our character. Most likely, we're going to walk forward, walk backward, strafe left and right. And supposedly, you're going to be able to turn side to side. So, like, if I want to strafe, I can do this, but I can turn my character. So it might be a little awkward at first. We're going to figure it out. Great box it comes in. This is going to be like a good box to store it in too if you want to keep it somewhere safe and not use it. So we're going to make sure this box doesn't get too damaged. That right there is the 3dRudder. On the bottom, it's just got rubber to kind of keep it in place on the floor for you, make it a little easier. Build quality feels good. It's interesting. So there, it looks like it's almost pressure sensitive. You can probably see right there, you can kind of see through it. So maybe that is where some of the pressure sensitive movement comes in, but it makes me feel a little more leery of its strength. So again, don't put your friend on this and not warn them, hey, you're not supposed to just stand on it. Or even you might need to monitor them because people might not be thinking about it. They're sitting in a chair, they're playing this, and then they finish the game, they take the headset off, they might try and just stand up on the chair. So let's go check this out. We're gonna hook this up to PS4, check it out and see what we think about it. So let's go hook that up. Camera. Try to tip you this way just a little bit. And this is more awkward for me because I'm recording and everything. If I was just setting this up to play, this wouldn't be quite so difficult. So right now in the menus, I don't see any sort of, I thought maybe if you moved it side to side, you'd get some sort of movement. So I'm not seeing anything there. It's kind of weird. It says the instruction manual just shows you pictures of what to do. I guess I can kind of show you that. It shows you, put it down, plug it in, listen for three beeps, wait, listen for one beep, put your feet on it, wait for another beep. So basically that's what we've done. I've closed the application and I've connected to the internet in case it needed anything from that. I did find out looking at the manual that you are supposed to have these weird fin things facing forward to kind of help you find it with your feet. One problem I'm finding so far with it as far as comfort, I love to man spread apparently, and I like to keep my legs apart. And with this here, it's pretty, you gotta keep your feet pretty close together, which kind of has my knees close, which is not the most comfortable seating position for me. I've never played the Wizards, I just got this. Why do I always do that? We're just gonna be trying to figure this out really fast. We're just gonna try arena mode. Oh, okay. So I don't even know how to play this game Wizards at all. Okay, whoa. So this is already a little tricky to get used to. Definitely kind of keeping your feet near those fin blades help you keep your bearings. And already I'm so used to it being locomotion that I'm like, okay, what button do I press? So we're gonna try and just walk around a little bit. So you can tip it a little bit and you can walk slow. You can tip it a lot and you can walk fast. The tricky part is that right there, the turning is a little, oh gosh, it's a little bit of a trip for me. So basically you can just turn your feet and you turn. But one problem I'm experiencing right now, it's almost like I'm not centered in my play space. Like somehow in VR, sometimes in VR you try and turn and it's like instead of turning in place, it's like you're standing on a circle and you turn around that circle. So I'm gonna try this again, but it's not like I'm just turning in place, it's like I'm kind of stepping around something. Oh man. Whew. So it's weird because I still want to find the button and do the click turns. So that even still might be something with this 3dRudder. It might still feel more natural for me to turn this way. I don't like that it's click turns though. I wish it was smooth turning. So that's where you can get used to that, but it's hard to kind of, it's hard to get used to like trying to maneuver. Because it's like, imagine on your controller, you've got two sticks. One strafes and moves forward and back, and one turns you. Now you're making it one stick that does everything. This moves me back and forth. This strafes left to right, but it also turns me. And so to try and pull the maneuver of walking and turning, it's possible, but it doesn't feel supernatural. It feels like you're gonna have to learn to adjust to it. Something that also I feel like would actually benefit if this was like hooked to the floor in such a way that I couldn't scoot it around, because I feel like as I'm trying to use this, I'm going to scoot it far away from me, and then I'm going to have to try and like get it back to me. So that's kind of a tricky thing. The fact that you have to kind of turn it side to side is what makes me think that as I'm doing that and tipping it, I'm going to end up with this thing far away from me. So, oh man, this is a trip. I really appreciate what the company's done here. I think that it's, as far as locomotion goes on PSVR, this could be a really good solution, because if I needed to be using my hands right now, it'd be easier than trying to hold the thumb button and press buttons. But it's not something you just jump right on like a controller. You jump on it and you can just go. I'm in a rolling chair and I've got this on the floor and I feel like it's scooting away from me, or I'm scooting the chair back. So like I said already, I feel like I need to like try to get this thing closer to me, and it's hard to get it closer to you when you're in the middle of something. So if I was with a joystick with your thumb, that's the only thing I can compare this to, because that's what we're all used to using. With a joystick in your thumb, you let go and it lands back in its normal spot, or you take your thumb off it and it stays neutral. With this, I have to find the neutral spot. Like I could try to lift up my legs, but that's extremely uncomfortable and difficult. So like, let's say I'm, apparently lifting up my legs was a bad idea, because 3dRudder, okay. Well, I guess I can't lift up my legs completely, because then it disconnects because there's no weight on it or something. Is it better or worse? I would say it's probably better, but I would want to practice this quite a bit. So if you get one of these, you're definitely going to need to spend some time doing exactly what I'm doing right now, just practicing movement. So like if you were trying to maneuver and do this, you can actually actually control a bow and be maneuvering around. But it's definitely, I'm having to think very hard. But just like, I mean, the first time we ever played with a joystick on the N64 or the PS1 after they added them, it wasn't exactly perfect. We're just all used to it now. Now the big game I want to try with this that everybody wants to see is going to be Sorrento. So we're going to go ahead and switch to that. And I'm going to play the Wizards at another time with this 3dRudder, try to actually learn the game. So let's go. And I've been trying to play around my seat a little bit and get it like to a good height for this. But I definitely think probably be best if you were in a stationary chair that could not turn. So then you would always be kind of set in the same position. There's these front foot fins, I don't know what to call. I feel like there should be some back ones too. So if there's back ones, I could kind of lock my whole foot in here. Or maybe even like, you ever go on the rowing machine at the gym, it like locks your feet into it? I might actually be better off if my foot was like slipped inside like a slipper. And then I wouldn't have to worry about my feet sliding around so much. Or maybe it'd be better if I was barefoot, but I wasn't going to be barefoot and have a camera 3 inches from my feet, because that's just icky. Okay. Okay. So you definitely want the locomotion to be probably your play area. So now my hands should be able to move independently any direction and aim anyway, and it shouldn't affect the fact that tipping the 3dRudder forward will always make me go forward. Definitely takes some getting used to, but as you get more used to it, it starts to feel more natural and starts to make you realize you have a better ability of control. Oh geez. Well, I definitely, I feel like I have better control, but I'm still struggling with it a bit. Okay, go this way. Well, he still shot me. That wasn't cool. Die. One thing I'm finding, you have to give yourself permission to like go a little more crazy with this thing. Tip your knees up high and move this thing around, and don't be afraid to like go a little crazy with it. What happened? What happened? Jeez, this guy's stronger than the other ones. Run. Turn. Okay, that's annoying. Apparently I can't fit through there. One thing, it definitely makes you feel like you might look ridiculous. So like, when you're standing in VR and you have swords and you're swinging, it feels like it might look cool. Sitting down, having my feel on this thing, I feel like there's no way that this looks cool. Like, this probably just looks absolutely ridiculous. It's destroying my illusion of thinking that I might actually look cool. Die. Jump behind you. Okay, maybe we should switch to guns for a while, because we're getting wrecked here. Okay, turn. Oh god. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Jump away or something. We tried out the 3dRudder, and let's talk about thoughts on it. So first of all, pros. I would say this works exactly as advertised. You lean forward, you walk forward. You lean back, you walk back. Left, you strafe. Right, you strafe. Turning turns your character in the game. So it does everything they promised exactly as they promised it. It is plug and play. There isn't anything you have to install, any drivers you have to mess with. Did give me a little bit of difficulty as I was just trying to kind of figure out what the beeps meant and how to get it to work right. But after that, it seemed to work just fine. Drawbacks. I don't play a lot of virtual reality sitting. So this is kind of a weird experience for me to be sitting and trying to experience that. I had a bit of a hard time, as I mentioned, with how close I need to keep my feet together. It just wasn't the most comfortable seating position. And I really think when I go back and play with this more, I'm probably going to try sitting in a planted, solid chair that can't turn or move around on wheels to help me keep better control over this 3dRudder. One thing that I noticed that I mentioned, so if you're playing a game where you're constantly running forward a lot like Sorrento, but you're also trying to turn while you do it, you tend to kind of walk this thing forward over time, and it kind of walks it away from you, which when you're in VR, it's very hard to realize that's happened. It's hard to try and reel it back. And then something also with just these fins being your only control, you don't have anything around the sides. I kind of wish it had like almost like slippers on it where you'd like slide your feet in and it would keep them there. It would just make it a lot more secure. So I think that as I play this more, I might kind of see if there's a modification I can do, put some sort of strap over something where I can keep my feet planted and have more mobility to control this and hold on to it. I think that it works really well for the games that it's designed for. There's definitely a learning curve on it. I ended up playing for about an hour and a half altogether, and I started to feel somewhat comfortable. I think you have to invest probably about 3 hours of your time to really feel like you knew what you were doing with this, to feel as confident moving around as I currently do with the move style that most games have with the thumb button. So lastly, and probably the most important question, is this worth $120? And my answer to that is yes, if. Yes, if the main games that I wanted this to be compatible for, it was. If this was compatible with Skyrim, if this was compatible with No Man's Sky, if this was compatible with Borderlands when I play with the move controllers instead of the aim controller, this would be the perfect peripheral for those, because those are games I do play sitting down. I want to relax. I know I'm going to take a lot of time if I'm in them, and so I'd be able to sit, I'd be able to move my hands freely, and the thought of in No Man's Sky, if I was able to use this to continue walking forward and I could be messing around with things on my watch, I could be doing other things, it would really free up my hands instead of having to always aim the direction I want to go. That would be amazing for this. Currently, all the games that are available, and I'll put a list of them up here so you can check them out, a lot of them are indie games or smaller games. Some of them are really cool, as we saw even in the games we played, but they're the kind of games like Sorrento. I would probably pretty much always play that game standing, because I would want the mobility in my arms to be able to move and swing the swords and such. So I don't see this being the best way potentially to experience Sorrento, but I would think this would be an amazing way to play Skyrim, or an amazing way to play No Man's Sky. So if they add that compatibility, then I would say this peripheral is awesome and is a must buy it. Let me know in the comments if you got a 3dRudder, if you're thinking about it, where you're at with it. Let me know. I'd love to hear about what everyone else thinks about it. I want to say thank you for hanging out today, checking this out, and seeing what the 3dRudder is all about. I am going to go on a little bit more and talk about, I did have some experiences with 3dRudder's customer service aside from the actual product. So if you kind of want to hear about some of that stuff that went on, hang out for the rest of the video. But if not, thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you in another game. So some quick history on my experience with the 3dRudder. I saw back, I want to say it was in like November of last year, that the Ultra Wings developer put a post on Reddit, I believe, saying that they are patching in support for a super secret PSVR peripheral. And then in the patch notes, they accidentally put in 3dRudder support. And at this time, nothing had been said about 3dRudder supporting the PSVR. Nothing had been said about them designing a separate product. So I bought the only 3dRudder that was available at the time, was their main standard edition one. 2 months later in January, they announced there's going to be a 3dRudder specifically for the PSVR. I contacted the company and I was like, hey, I know I'm way outside of the return window here. The return window was 30 days and it had been over 2 months. It's like, but I bought this only for this. I haven't used it because I can't. Is there anything you can do for me? They worked with me and said, okay, you return everything and we'll get you on the list for the PSVR edition when it first comes out. So that was great. I paid for it back in March and I've been waiting for it since. Then I heard that people were trying to get them in North America, and I reached out to them asking, hey, where's my 3dRudder? And there was some confusion. They did not remember or see that I had already paid for the 3dRudder. This was fixed with one quick email. I just had to send my PayPal receipt to show them, well, I did already pay for it. And they felt really bad. To rectify their mistake, they actually offered me 2 free PSVR games that were compatible with 3dRudder. So I paid for the 3dRudder myself, but Sorrento and Wizards Enhanced Edition were both given to me by them for the mistake. That's about a $70 value of games given to me for free for that. So I want to say that is really great to see customer support really make up for the mistake. You know, a lot of places would have just said, sorry, we'll send your 3dRudder now. They made up for it, and on a $120 peripheral, to get $70 of free games, it's a really great value. So I'm really excited to go back and play both those games and to have the 3dRudder now finally, and to be able to experience other games with it. But I just wanted to say that not all companies would have gone out of their way to do that, and I did want to say thank you to them for doing that, and to let you know that you can have some confidence if you do buy from 3dRudder. Their customer support does take care of you. Thanks again for hanging out for the rest of the whole video now, and I'll see you in another game.